All right, so we might as well just dive right into it. Verses 14 through 17 of James chapter 2 says, "What use is it, my brothers and sisters, if someone says he has faith but he has no works? Can that faith save him? If a brother or sister is without clothing and in need of daily food, and one of you says to them, 'Go in peace, be warmed and be filled,' yet you do not give them what is necessary for their body, what use is that? In the same way, faith also, if it has no works, is dead, being by itself." So we won't even cover all that in this short little 3-minute video. But just to start off with, it's important that James opens with this question: what use is it, brothers and sisters, if someone has faith but no works? He's asking about the profitability. What good is it? Of what use is faith without works? Now, this is not just true of this passage, but whenever you read the Bible, you need to interact with the text. You need to be asking questions of the text because it will help the interpretation process. And here's what I mean. What use is it, brothers and sisters, if someone says he has faith but has no works? Immediately, you should probably ask the question, well, useful for what? Or useful for whom? That's a pretty important question. If I was to say, well, what use is a hammer? And just leave it at that, well, you would probably say, well, useful for what? A hammer is useful for some things, useful for putting a nail in a wall, maybe. But if I'm burping a small child, a hammer is probably not going to be a very great tool for that. So what use is it? Well, useful or profitable for whom or for what, or to do what, or to do whatever it is that faith is supposed to be doing. So that is the operative question that James is going to be answering in this passage. Of what use is faith without works? Now, he does talk about salvation. He does talk about justification later. So it seems like those are salvation words, going to heaven words. But one thing that we're going to tackle in these videos, in this study, is that words have a range of meaning, just like they do in English, they did in Greek. So we have to understand what James meant by those words that he was using. But that's the operative question that James is answering in this passage: is of what use is faith without works? Is there any profit to it? And that's when he says faith without works is dead. People will often talk about, well, faith without works is dead. Well, what does that mean? James defines what dead faith is. Dead faith is a faith that does not have works.